On this episode of Ghost Hunters International, the team travels to Wales to investigate an ancient castle.
The second baronet, he found human bones and had them reburied in a wall behind the figure of the long man.
What will happen when Rob engages the spirits in a game of hide and seek?
You just heard that bang underneath you.
What was that?
Andy, have you gotten any knocking sound?
I just opened that door. There was no one behind there.
Will Andy find his way through a treacherous maze?
Hold on a minute. I think I see something.
Or will the spirits put him in harm's way?
Andy, can you hear me? Are you okay?
Hey, guys.
What's going on, Rob?
Beautiful day in Wales, huh?
As beautiful as they get. Well, Brandy is ready to let us know what we're doing here, and I think we got a big case tonight.
Sounds good.
Hey guys, so tonight's investigation is at Bottlewithin Castle. Now, the base of the estate was built in the 15th century and actually served as a home to the Williams family for a couple hundred years. In the early 1900s, during World War I, it was used as a training center for trench warfare, and actually some of the trenches still exist there today. It has been reported that human bones were found in one of the walls of the castle.
Hey, guys.
With all this mystery going on.
We really got to be in top form on this one.
All right, guys, we're almost there, so let's get in, meet the client, and
Find out what's really going on. Dr. Mason.
Hi.
Rob.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing? I'm Andy.
How do you do?
I'm Barry.
Hi. Thanks very much for coming to Bottlewithin Castle. Well, I think it's great that GHI are here. I've been here for quite a number of years now, and I've heard all sorts of occurrences, people's experiences, different things happening. And I really hope the GHI team come up with some hard evidence on this. First of all, I think I better tell you a little bit about the history of the castle. It was originally a family home, belonged to the Williams family, going back to around 1690. But since then, it's been a girls' school. It was used by the army during the First World War, and more recently, a museum and an art gallery. And we have here collections from the National Portrait Gallery in London, Victoria and Albert Museum, and so on. But it's not really the collections I want you to have a look at. It's more the occurrences that seem to have happened here in the past, and things that I've actually experienced myself, which I really would like to have some more information about.
What kind of experiences have you had?
Perhaps if we have a walk around, and then I can explain as we go around. So the activity in this corridor is quite mixed, but what I would really like you to have a look at is perhaps some of the experiences that people have had. Occasionally people have noted footsteps following them down here, but just in here is where I had perhaps one of the most significant of my experiences. This is the billiard room. I was standing at one side of the room, looking to the other side and seeing out of the corner of my eye a grey figure walking past. Later on, though, something really quite curious happened to me. I had this really strong sense that there was somebody standing behind me, actually shouting in my ear.
You didn't actually hear anything.
No. It was very difficult to describe. It sounded as if somebody was really cross, really annoyed. It was really quite real and quite frightening in many ways.
So that happened right at the far end of the room.
It did, yes.
So where are we off to next?
This is the dining room. It was originally the dining room of the Williams family. In terms of paranormal experiences, a lot of people have felt the presence of what they describe as being a blue lady, a lady in a blue dress.
So when you say that people sense someone here, has anyone actually seen this blue lady, or they just get a sense of something?
They get a sense of something here. Now, they also come up with a name, Emily or Amelia. It just so happens that the portrait behind us is Lady Dilke, whose first name is Amelia. Now, whether there's a connection there in terms of any energy associated with that picture itself, or whether it's an association that people pick up on,
right,
I really can't say.
All right, so where are we off to next?
Now into the staircase hall. So the staircase hall seems to be really active. We have a number of security guards here. One guy was down in the cellar. He heard footsteps walking from that door to the door over there. It's very distinctive. You can tell the direction of footsteps. And he immediately thought there was an intruder in the building.
Right.
Came up, switched the lights on, absolutely nobody here, and all the doors were locked. I'd like to take you now into the sculpture gallery.
Okay.
There is significant activity, even the sculpture room. I feel that there is a male presence there that particularly doesn't like women. I've had my hair pulled, I've had my clothes pulled, and can become quite terrifying at times. And when it goes dark, when your eyes become accustomed to the dark, you start to pick out shapes of people. Where I've seen figures of males standing there, that was quite scary.
It was changed around in the 1830s. There was originally a wall about 1/3 of the way into this room. The second baronet, John Hay Williams, found human bones in the wall near one of the chimneys, which is a curious thing.
Absolutely.
It's because he had them reburied in a wall behind what we know as the figure of the long man, a stone effigy outside.
He found the bones and then reburied them?
But it always strikes me as strange, because why bury them in the wall of his father's bedroom?
Didn't like his dad. And as far as activity in this room,
one of the attendants during the day, standing in that doorway, looking across, saw the figure of a lady walking along this side of the room. And she described the lady as being in 2 dimensions, as if somebody had projected a film against the wall.
All right, so where are we off to next?
Well, I think probably the best thing is if we go up the stairs directly above where we're standing now into what we call the Toys and Games room. It's a completely different room from the ones we've seen downstairs. Just sort of examples of the sort of Victorian toys that people would have played with in the 19th century. Very curious room in terms of experiences that people have had.
In the Williams family, 2 daughters drowned in a skating accident, and I've seen those 2 children dripping wet stood out facing the courtyard looking outside of the windows in the toy room, and there's always a heavy atmosphere in there, as if somebody's watching you.
So where are we heading next?
I think we'll go outside. When the house was used by the army in the First World War, there was quite a large army camp just at one side of the estate, and a good part of the estate they used for trench warfare training. And we've still got some of the tractors' trenches they used there today. Over there, you can see the training trenches, and there are quite a number of military graves. They're over there.
We need to go get the rest of the team, get our equipment, and get set up and see what we can find for you.
Okay, good luck.
Well, thank you for the tour.
Pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Great, thanks a lot.
There's a lot of activity here in a lot of different spots, so we're gonna have to really make sure that we're making the best use of equipment. So let's get set up. We've got 8 or 9 rooms around here, all require attention and energy and equipment. So every member of this team is gonna have a real tough challenge making sure that we cover each and every one of these spots.
Okay, you're going to move this stair one down.
All right, Barry, go ahead. Down a little more.
That's good, sir. Very good.
So what do we got, Barry?
The main corridor leading down where the grey apparition was seen, and the footsteps is also heard, so we've got wireless audio. Leading through into the dining room, we've got the camera looking across toward the main bay window over toward the east, and also veering across toward the right with a picture of Emily. Leading through into the staircase, we've got that covered from the ground floor looking up onto the first floor. And leading into the sculpture gallery where one of the apparitions has been seen in that 2D image.
We'd like you and Brandy to go out, do the thermal sweep.
Sure. You okay with that?
You guys are up for that? Let's get the lights out and let's get right to it.
Now in this room, it said that some of the toys, the Victorian toys, will start spinning. Everything seems as it should be. Let's just get a bit closer to this. There's something on the wall there.
I saw that too. What is that?
Is that glass?
It's reflecting.
It's reflecting, aye.
That's interesting.
That's very interesting.
work out where exactly it came from?
Below us. That's actually the statue gallery.
Okay.
Directly below us. It actually felt like the floor moved.
Yeah, it kind of did.
When Brandy and I were doing our thermal sweep, it felt like the entire floor of the toy room lifted up and dropped. It was like a blast wave effect.
Something right behind me.
Yeah, I keep hearing that.
Barry and I were up in the toy room with the thermal. At one point, it actually sounded like footsteps behind me, but the thermal didn't turn up anything, so it was very odd.
Ayo. We ran into Barry and Brandy, who were just leaving the toy room. They reported that they were having the sensation of the floor dropping a couple feet underneath them. So I wanted to check it out for myself. EVP session, Dustin and Rob in the toy room. EVP stands for electronic voice phenomenon. It's a noise or sound that we did not hear with our own ears at the time of the recording. There's a room filled with toys. Are there any young people here that want to come out and play with us? We understand that there seems to be a presence here with...
Dude, it's happening right over here. It's like banging on the floor, like right beneath me.
I heard it. That was pretty weird. There's a room filled with toys. Are there any young people here that want to come out and play with us? We understand that there seems to be a presence here with...
Dude, it's happening right over here. It's like banging on the floor, like right beneath me.
I heard it. That was pretty weird. We were in here about a minute. I could see Dustin went out of the corner of my eye. We had 3 sharp bangs, like knocks from right underneath where he was standing.
It literally felt like standing in an apartment and having the old lady downstairs whack the ceiling a couple of times with a broomstick.
Except that the ceiling underneath us is about 30, 40 feet in the air.
Right. That was really weird.
Can you make that knocking sound again?
Did you live in this house at one time?
If you can talk directly into this device in my hand, this is your chance to get your message out. Would it be possible for you to bang on the floor underneath one of us again? But you just heard that bang.
Yeah, you could feel the
underneath you.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on? We actually asked the question, can you make that sound again? 3 more distinct knocks underneath Dustin again.
And I could literally feel as if somebody was, almost hitting the bottom of my shoes.
Can you make that same sound underneath one of us now, again? If you don't want us in here, it's important that you find a way to demonstrate that to us. If you want us to go, let us know right now. Do you want us to stay? Did you hear those knocks?
There's like 3 little boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Said, do you want us to leave? Silence. Do you want us to stay? 1, 2, 3. Bang, bang, bang. So you do want us to stay?
There was 3 solid thumps. It was just really exciting. And to be able to document something like that, not once, but 3 times, it's just fantastic.
Hey, Barry.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
We've got some continued activity up here in the toy room. I'd like you to bring the full spectrum camera up here and see if we can chase this thing down.
The full spectrum camera, I'm able to see a wider band of light, the spectrum, to capture as much evidence as possible.
Also, I'd like to get Andy and Brandy
in the room underneath us,
just to make it absolutely sure that there's no way that anyone could be hitting the ceilings.
Sure, no worries, I'm on my way.
One of the great things about having a team as good as this one is that you can get them together in a moment's notice.
Andy.
Go ahead, Rob.
You're in the gallery room beneath us, correct?
Exactly.
There's absolutely no way anyone in there could reach the ceiling, correct?
Absolutely not. I mean, we're looking at practically 3 stories high.
All right, thank you, Andy.
Can you give us a a sign that you're here.
Would it be possible for you to once again knock on the floor near one of us?
Did you pass away here? It's got footsteps over here.
Where?
Behind me.
Barry, how many footsteps did you hear?
3.
Approaching you or moving away? All right, we'll keep going.
Can you come closer and give us a sign that you're here? Were you responsible earlier for the vibrations in the floor?
Do you intend to scare people who come through this room?
Did you pass away here? Or did you die in the battlefield?
We're going to be leaving soon. This is almost your last chance to try to communicate with us.
Is it the memories of the war that disturb you in this room? You heard that?
That wasn't you?
No. Andy, have you gotten any knocking sound?
I just heard that, and I just opened that door, and there was no one behind there.
Is that him doing something down there?
Were you guys just down here?
No.
We were just starting to spread out. You hear the door go click clunk. We rush over, open the door down here to this stairwell. No one's here. Something behind it moved it. And you can feel right now, there's no breeze in here. There's nothing that's creating any kind of vacuum or anything like that.
About 30 seconds before that, we got another triple knock up here.
Yeah. Did you heard that?
I absolutely heard it.
This is great because you now have 2 separate teams on 2 different levels with collaborating evidence. You can't do better than that. That's unbelievable.
Let's set our stuff up wider.
All right, let's go.
After we had heard this bang, we decided that it was time to do an EVP session. Some of the phenomena that we've been told happens at this location is people are being touched. I'm going to have you start the EVP session. I'm going to keep the thermal on you.
Okay.
All right?
If there's anyone in this room with us tonight, I ask for you to... If there is someone in this room with us tonight, please make your presence known. I invite you to prove that you're here to us by touching me. You can touch my hand, you can pull my hair, you can touch my knee. Just prove to us that you're here with us. Are you one of the Williams family members? Did you live here?
Whoa, that was weird.
I invite you to prove that you're here to us by touching me. Did you live here?
Whoa, that was weird. As she was doing the EVP session, I noticed something on the thermal imaging camera, something that I had never seen before. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Did you die here?
Whoa, it did it again. Her heat signature was left fine, and then everything surrounding her went black. For a second. This didn't happen once. This happened twice.
I came a very long way to see you and experience you.
That's important because black is the lowest temperature on our thermal scale. And perhaps we might have proven the fact that cold spots can surround an investigator. Let's stop it, press this down, and we'll leave the meters in here.
Okay.
Stationary. Okay, excellent. Let's go. Okay, Brandy, why don't you take the lead? Watch your step.
Watch your head.
Yeah.
With all the activity we experienced in the toy and game room and Andy and Brandy had in the sculpture gallery below us, I decided to take it a step further and send those guys into the basement. I wanted to see if there might be anything down there that might be causing this paranormal activity.
Here. That's the sculpture gallery.
Uh-huh.
All right, so what do you think?
I think you're going in first.
Okay. All right.
Andy Andrews is a very brave man. I will have to say that it was better him than me going through the crawl space underneath the sculpture gallery tonight. What do you see?
I don't know yet.
How's it going?
It's actually a little bit of a maze down here. I'm gonna go through a little passageway to a front room.
Okay.
All right, hold on a minute. I think I see something.
Andy, are you okay? Andy, can you hear me? Andy, are you okay? I don't know where he is. Andy?
Did you say something?
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah. It's crazy. I wasn't expecting it to be that much of a maze down here. What I would like is our EMF.
Okay.
Under the sculpture gallery, I was able to notice that there were many electrical lines that were running throughout.
Find anything?
I'm on 0 right now.
Okay.
I took the EMF detector to make sure that they weren't giving off a high reading, and sure enough, they were at zip, 0. That's great, because now we know it's not high EMF causing the paranormal activity in the floor above. All right, I'm gonna head on out.
Awesome.
Whoa, is there someone upstairs? Call. Find out if there's someone in the room above us. There was footsteps up there just now. That was like a heavy footstep.
Can I get team locations right now? I need team locations right now.
Right now, Barry, Dustin, and myself have just moved into
Living room.
All right, tell them they need to get to the gallery right now.
We need you to get to the sculpture gallery ASAP.
Sure. We are now in the sculpture gallery. We can hear you guys underneath us.
Okay, was there anyone in there at all?
Absolutely not.
There were footsteps that sounded like they started from the center of the room and made their way back towards the doorway.
Yeah, I can guarantee you there was no one in here. There's no one in here now besides us.
Copy that.
It was definitely interesting under there.
Yeah, you can say that again.
EVP session. Rob, Barry, Dustin. We're in the dining room. Seems to have been quite a bit going on here this evening. We would ask that the individual who has stayed behind in this castle now really comes forward. This is where the blue lady was seen.
Anything could be in any room, regardless of what people have seen. You feel free to ask whatever you like, right?
If there is a woman present, would it be possible for you to acknowledge that we are here?
If you are the lady in this room, can you tell us what your name is? Barry?
Yeah.
Come stand on my left side. I'm getting a real cold feeling on my arm on the left side.
Just go over here.
It's weird because on my right I don't feel it, but on my left I can feel it here.
Do you have the temp gauge with you?
Yeah, I do. It was 76 when we first came in.
73. Did you guys hear that?
Shh.
Andy, where are you right now?
We are in the section of the basement all the way over by the spiral staircase.
Thank you. So who's walking around up here? You could hear what sounded like footsteps walking directly above us, and there was no one investigating up there.
We haven't been in those rooms. Let's go down and see. Somebody's up there. Let's go. Something's going on.
You could hear what sounded like footsteps walking directly above us on the second floor. So Barry, Dustin, and I went up there to check it out.
Because it would have been back over here, right?
There's no one in here besides us. While we were up there, we didn't find anyone in the room.
I just went outside and thought it was necessary to investigate the statue of the Long Man. I actually got very lucky and found a ladder on the side of the building and was able to climb up and get a closer look at the Long Man statue. My biggest concern was, what are we dealing with? Is that a statue? Or could it possibly be like a sarcophagus? And I'm curious, could that be creating some of the paranormal activity that is happening here? Upon inspecting the statue, I found it's just a statue. There is no cavern within it, which means either there are no bones there and it's a legend, or the bones are actually placed within the actual brickwork of the castle. Nothing that would lead me to believe that there's any kind of paranormal activity focusing around it.
All right, guys, terrific investigation tonight. Definitely appreciate the energy and the enthusiasm, but the sun is starting to come up, so let's get the lights on and pack it up. Even though it's come to another early morning and we're all beat, I think that every member of this team should be proud of what we did here tonight. Personal experiences were backed up by sounds, noises, banging in what seemed to be evidence of the paranormal, and that's what we're here for.
I'm absolutely thrilled to be with the team. They're a great group of people, and I'm just looking forward to going over the evidence and checking out to see what we got.
I still am very open-minded about whether this castle is haunted or not. There have been all sorts of stories, and I'm sure there might be all sorts of different explanations for the experiences that people have had, but I think finally now we'll get some real hard evidence.
Today, Brandy and I are going to review the evidence for Bottlewythen Castle. We need to pay particular attention to what was going on in the sculpture gallery and also the toy room. There seemed to be a high concentration of personal experiences going on in that area of the castle. And we're hoping to reflect that in what we've captured on the equipment. There's going to be a lot of things to cover, from visual to audio to full spectrum. So we're going to have our hands full today. Brandy, have a listen to this for a second.
Okay.
This is when Rob and Dustin were in the toy room. You will hear the 3 distinct knocks that they had spoken about.
Okay. I heard the 3 knocks.
You know, before, whenever we experienced it, it felt like a blast wave lifting the floor and dropping it. And I don't know if the guys were experiencing that exact thing, or whether these knocks were a result of that, or what was going on. We'll keep running with it and see what else turns up.
Cool. Hey, Barry. So I am an EVP. It's Rob in the toy room. Have a listen.
What we can hear in the background is a reply, yeah. We can hear Rob in the distance ask this question. However, the reply that comes back is very, very clear and just gives that, yeah. And that was a good catch. I want you to have a look at this. This has showed up in one of the images in full spectrum.
I've never seen anything like that before.
Today I'm doing my research. I will be meeting with Morgan. She knows more about this place than anybody. Hopefully she can give me some answers as to, the truth about these bones, if there's really some authenticity to it, or just more about this place in general. Anything that would kind of tie this all together.
There have been archaeological excavations done that have revealed Roman remains, so it's obviously an ancient site. But I think there's a lot of the history of the castle here that we still don't know.
We were told that some bones were found on the property.
The Williams family discovered human bones buried in the wall behind a fireplace. And these bones were reburied behind the figure of the long man.
Does he represent anything?
He's a mystery, really. We've got people researching it at the moment.
I'm sure you've heard the stories of the apparitions that have been seen here.
I think there are definitely links between the Williams family and some of the things that have been experienced here. 2 little girls, daughters of William Grenville Williams, ran off to skate on a frozen pond. The ice wasn't strong enough to hold them, and they fell in and both drowned.
We were also told the story of the blue lady who has been seen here, a possible correlation to a painting of a woman named Amelia. So what do you know about it?
We believe it could be Amelia Frances Dilke, and we know that she was a very strong character. She fought for women's rights. The portrait of her husband hangs in an adjoining room, and we know that they had quite a tense relationship.
Has anything ever happened that you may have experienced that it's kind of raised a question in your mind?
Occasionally, the atmosphere can just change very quickly, and you suddenly want to leave a room.
Is there a room in particular that you get that kind of sensation?
It can often be in the centre of the house, so that'll be the staircase hall and the staircase itself. That's the oldest part.
Morgan, I sincerely thank you for all your time.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey.
So, how'd we do?
We've done good. First of all, I think the best thing to do is to address the knocks that you guys were experiencing. Certainly myself and Brandy during the thermal sweep. It felt that the whole floor lifted and pumped down, and then there was the footsteps that came behind Brandy.
Yeah, I remember they were in response. When we first walked in, you had 3 big ones under you.
You could literally feel it right through the floor. We actually tried to recreate it. Rob would walk the same path that he was walking while I stood in one place, and we were able to make it happen.
Brandy found a couple of EVPs.
Oh, we did get EVPs.
Rob, you make the remark about the weather outside. In the response toward that side of the room, we get, yeah. And so I'll just play it here for you. You can tell from your voice pitch, you were a good bit away from that particular mic. So no one was near it, but whatever that was much closer to the mic.
Yeah, I mean, you can barely hear my voice, but you can definitely hear that, response. That's a good catch. Good job, Brandy.
Thank you.
All right, so is that it?
We have one more thing left to show you. Guys, I want to show you this particular photo that was captured in the dining room. This.
I mean, that's an incredible picture. We usually see something like that and we say, dust, bug. But the way that's reflecting off the light and the fact that the UV was going the other direction, that one is a mystery. Dr. Mason, how are you?
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
You had some interesting experiences?
Well, first of all, you provided us quite a challenge. Normally, we go into a location, they say, well, here's 3 or 4 really haunted spots. You weren't going to let us get away with it that easy. You said, I've got 10, 11 for you, and the activity is people sensing things, footsteps, different kinds of smells, so we had to use every piece of equipment in our kit.
Almost immediately, something happened. Our investigators, Barry and Brandy, they were up in the toy room. They described a feeling almost like the floor rised up and dropped right out from underneath them. At the same time as this was going on, Brandy said that she heard footsteps following them in that room. After that had happened, we pulled the team together and really started getting into that toy room and doing more of an investigation. It was Rob and Dustin up in that toy room, and there's some footage that I'd like for you to see.
I want you to listen to this and see if you hear anything on the sound.
All right, okay.
So what did you hear?
A sort of a creaky noise and a knock.
Now, what happened was We're walking, as you know, there are creaks. When we got to the location in which we stopped, we heard those knocks.
Oh, right.
So what we did is we walked that path over and over again. Sure, there's a creak, but when we were both fully stopped, we got 3 distinct knocks from underneath us. And as you know, it would be kind of tough for someone to knock on the ceiling of this room.
Certainly would.
But that wasn't it.
We actually have another piece that we captured, same location, same investigators. And I'll play that for you right now.
Do you want us to stay? Did you hear those knocks?
Yeah, it did. It was kind of quiet.
But you could definitely hear those knocks.
And what was interesting about that, Dr. Mason, is that the question before that was, do you want us to leave?
Yes.
Silence. Do you want us to stay? Once again, 3 distinct knocks.
It's not the first time that people have heard knocking noises in that particular room. They've also reported the feeling that they don't want you to leave, so it sort of matches up with other people's experiences.
That makes sense. We did pick up some other things that you may find interesting here. And if you notice on the footage, you will see that when you see me in the frame, I'm carrying a digital voice recorder. So it's kind of interesting that we may have gotten a response on this. I want to see what you think of it. The first part is myself, and we want to show you the segment just after that.
That's Rob. And that's what we're listening to.
Yeah, I can hear the, yeah. That's really amazing that you asked that question of others and then you get that response. It's brilliant.
That's not it.
Okay.
We received another response in the library. This was myself, Barry, and Dustin. And you're going to hear me once again ask a question, and I want you to listen for another response.
Okay. That was a definite yes, wasn't it? I'm really quite amazed by it. Yes is almost, well, it's definite. It's just as if I was there saying yes to you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, it's rare that we get something of that quality. This was pretty impressive to us.
And there's one more piece that we'd like to show you. I'd like to bring up a picture that was taken by our investigator, Barry. What's interesting about this photo is that it's taken with a camera that is only taking photos into the IR range. Now, this is the dining room, and the photo's being taken towards the library.
Yes.
This is the doorway into the library. When we started going through the photos, we found something very interesting.
So, what's this here?
Exactly.
Well, it looks as if there's something moving in that direction. It seems to have a distinct shape as well. Have you had a look at that in enlargement?
We can enlarge it for you right now.
Now, there's something here that we found very interesting, and that's this.
Right.
Normally, when we get a picture where it has some sort of orb-like appearance, we would say, well, that's a reflection of the IR light off dust or a bug.
Yes.
This seems to be reflecting off something in the background as it travels across the room, meaning that it's giving off its own light. It's not a reflection of light, it's emanating light from within itself.
It's such a strong light as well. If it was an orb, would it have this sort of streakiness to it, as if it's traveling at speed?
That speed.
Any idea what sort of speed that object would be traveling at?
I did speak to Barry about that, and he said if that was a piece of dust, it was a piece of dust in a wind tunnel. Because dust does not travel that fast to get that kind of length. I mean, you can see the length of the tail on this thing.
Well, again, I'm totally amazed by it. It's some real evidence of something very definitely going on in that room. I'm trying hard to think of an explanation for it, but I can't. Really taken by that picture. As I say, my mind's working overtime trying to think of an explanation to prove my skepticism.
Welcome to our club. Well, at this point, do you have any other questions for us?
One thing I was going to ask you, did you go up to where our craft and design gallery is upstairs on the first floor?
No, we did not. We didn't get to that area.
I didn't think you did because it was all locked up anyway. But a curious thing happened. At some point in the evening, we have a number of pottery figures on display there. It's quite a large one, actually toppled over over, which is strange because they're firmly fixed down.
With the security cameras, is there any way that we might have gotten footage of it?
We've got these security cameras recording all the time, so we could have a look to see if it's on.
Would that be possible?
Yeah, no problem at all. Should we do it now?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Absolutely.
Okay, this is the security camera system that we've got covering the castle.
Right.
And you can see it's covering every area of the house. There are various cameras covering all the entrances to the room where the crafts are. And this is the one.
Yeah, we never saw that room.
Let's rewind a little bit. See this figure here? That's the one that we've had problems with.
Oh, oops.
See that?
Can we see that again?
See this figure here? That's the one that we've had problems with.
Oh, oops.
See that?
Can we see that again?
Yeah, of course, yeah. There's the figure standing up now. 17:53 and 53 seconds.
And so this happened at the beginning of what was our investigation,
well,
or the time code?
The time code on here, 17:53.
Right,
so
when we got
that
started.
Would have been when you just started.
Right.
We can flick again round the other cameras so you can see the area is just secure. There's nobody there at all. And it is quite important. It's a movement of something quite heavy, really, in one of our galleries.
Is it possible that we could take a look at that room?
Yeah, we can have a look there now if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
This is the area where we've got these pottery figures. This was the one that actually toppled over, and it was positioned just in that corner there. It actually fell over and it damaged another one, and there's that other one on the top there.
Beheaded this one?
Beheaded it, yes. So it's really strange because we use this museum putty to hold them down in order to protect them from the public accidentally knocking them over.
Sure.
It really is quite firm. You can see from that. It's not, it's not going to fall over.
Yeah. That's the only one that fell over.
That's the only one, yes.
I mean, if we're dealing with something where the whole building is shaking, if the room is shaking, you would expect...
Get them all.
Exactly. Exactly. This is heavy.
Yeah.
This isn't, something light. It would have taken some force to push that over.
All right, so we've got... This door was locked.
Yes.
This door was locked up tight.
Yeah, it's a steel shutter there.
And you've got the cameras outside that would have picked anyone walking in the area.
That's correct, yeah. There's no way anyone could have got into here.
You got us on this one, I'm afraid. All right, well, thank you for taking us up here. Well, certainly thank you very much for showing us that. I mean, that really was a surprise.
It's a surprise to us to find it, actually, in the morning, but...
I can imagine. After we looked at all the evidence, we came to a point where we were confident with the EVPs, the photograph, the videos, and now even on top of that, your videos in saying that we feel that this castle is haunted.
I'm really appreciative of all your effort to actually track down some hard evidence, and I'm really pleased with your results.
Well, Dr. Mason, thank you very much. We appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Shall we go?
Yeah, please. Because of my personal experiences here, and maybe I was beginning to doubt myself in some respects, I definitely believe now Bodelwyddan Castle is haunted in some form. It's really exciting to actually come to that conclusion, and it's really down to the fact that there's been some evidence presented which actually shows this.
Well, I really felt that was a great investigation. He gave us a big challenge. We met it. He was happy with the results. And we couldn't have done it, obviously, without the team really pulling together. Everyone worked well together. Everyone came together, and everyone helped each other out. And that's what a team's about. I'm excited to see what Brandy has for us next.
Absolutely.